From the moment Fergie let that tiny smile escape, Meghan Markle's world began to wobble in a way few had ever seen. It wasn't a loud accusation, not a shouting match or a headline-grabbing comment. It was a subtle tilt of the head, a knowing glance that said far more than any press release could. And the effect was immediate. The internet erupted, gossip threads reignited, old photos resurfaced, and social media exploded with speculation, leaving Meghan pacing her Montecito mansion like a caged animal, phone in hand, messages pinging incessantly, desperate to put out fires she couldn't control. Every PR call, every frantic email felt like a band-aid on a wound that only kept reopening, and in those moments, it was painfully obvious how fragile the carefully polished image she had spent years constructing really was. The yacht summer, the very chapter of her life she had meticulously tucked away, suddenly resurfaced in full color, a Pandora's box opened by the one person Meghan could not influence or intimidate. Fergie, seasoned, unflappable, and knowing exactly what she was doing, had thrown the smallest spark and ignited a wildfire. And the chaos didn't just stay online. It ricocheted through Hollywood insiders, fashion bloggers, and even royal aides, each whisper and comment magnifying the storm. Meghan's reactions, or lack thereof, only amplified the frenzy. Every attempt to deflect, explain, or control the narrative faltered under the weight of Fergie's effortless poise. While Meghan's team scrambled, making late-night crisis calls, sending messages to journalists, and attempting to suppress hashtags that were already trending, Fergie simply smiled, walked calmly from her interview, and left the world guessing. It was a masterclass in handling scandal. Understated, strategic, and devastatingly effective, a stark contrast to Meghan's high-octane, performative approach that required constant management, control, and appearances. The palace watched silently from London, aware that nothing they said could influence this unfolding mess. King Charles and his aides understood the delicacy, the potential for public embarrassment, and the way such rumors could ricochet internationally, yet there was no intervention, just a quiet observation of Meghan's escalating desperation. And Harry, caught in the middle, frustrated, protective, and increasingly weary, could do little more than try to shield her while she navigated a storm of her own making. Every move she made was scrutinized, every curated smile dissected, every public appearance weighed against the growing mountain of whispers about her pre-Duchess life. The yacht summer, once a glamorous networking opportunity, had become an instrument of public fascination and judgment. Old photographs, blurry party shots, and casual anecdotes resurfaced, illustrating a world where young, ambitious women navigated the elite social spheres of the Mediterranean, rubbing elbows with models, social climbers, and Hollywood hopefuls, all chasing access and visibility. And Meghan, whether intentionally or by coincidence, had been present in those circles, positioning herself in ways that, when viewed through the lens of Fergie's hint, seemed calculated, strategic, and, to the public, somewhat dissonant with the image of the humble, centered Duchess she had presented. Meanwhile, every attempt to respond, to clarify, to stage a controlled comeback, only made the public and media sense the imbalance. Her planned documentary projects, meticulously photographed women's leadership appearances, and carefully curated social media posts were met with skepticism rather than admiration, and insiders admitted the tension was palpable within her camp. Unlike Fergie, who had endured decades of public scrutiny, legal battles, and tabloid attacks with grace, Meghan's team was constantly on edge, scrambling to protect an image that now seemed perpetually on the verge of collapse. The contrast between the two women, both adjacent to royalty yet operating under entirely different paradigms, was striking. One thrived under scrutiny, leveraging her experience and calm demeanor to maintain control, while the other attempted to manufacture calmness while chaos brewed behind the scenes, a constant reminder of the fragility beneath the surface polish. And as the weeks passed, the internet's fascination only grew. Every comment, every hint, every resurfaced image became fodder for analysis, speculation, and debate. Royal fans dissected timelines, Celebrity bloggers cross-referenced social circles, and social media users created a constant feedback loop that kept the yacht summer and every other whisper of Meghan's past alive in public consciousness. The drama spilled into every corner of her carefully curated world, challenging not only her public persona but also her personal sense of control, and forcing her to confront an uncomfortable truth. Some stories, once unearthed, cannot be fully buried, no matter how much money, influence, or media savvy one commands. And in that tension, the contrast between the poised, knowing smile of Fergie and Meghan's frantic scramble lay the suspense, the drama, and the irresistible public fascination that ensures the story would not fade quietly into the background. Every new rumor, every resurfaced anecdote, every strategic move by Meghan's team only served to heighten the stakes, drawing audiences deeper into a narrative that was part celebrity drama, part royal intrigue, and part carefully orchestrated media performance. And while Meghan may have believed she could control perception, the reality was that she had underestimated the public's hunger for authenticity, the media's appetite for contradiction, and the power of someone like Fergie, who could drop a single, casual hint and watch a meticulously constructed image unravel with effortless precision. This, the public realized, was not just another viral moment. It was a masterclass in narrative exposure, a reminder that even the most polished lives can be cracked, and that every action, every association, and every whispered secret has the potential to reshape perception in ways that even the most strategic branding cannot fully control. As the days dragged on, Meghan's Montecito mansion began to feel less like a sanctuary and more like a gilded cage, a space where every shadow seemed to whisper about the yacht summer, every room echoed with the weight of a past she had meticulously edited, and every glance at her phone promised another headline she couldn't control. Inside her team's crisis bunker, the energy was frenetic, constant phone calls, rapid-fire emails, and urgent messages to journalists and social media managers who were struggling to keep pace with a storm that seemed to gain strength by the hour. Each mention of Fergie, each resurfaced anecdote, was a reminder that some truths, however casual or offhand, had the power to ricochet across continents, rewriting the narrative in seconds. Meghan's usual playbook of polished smiles, carefully timed statements, and glossy appearances was failing spectacularly. There was no controlling Fergie, no silencing the internet, and no managing the inevitable comparisons to Catherine and William, who remained calm, composed, and unshakable under scrutiny. Whereas Meghan's every move seemed designed to perform, to curate, and to broadcast control, Catherine's simple authenticity, showing up, supporting her husband, and letting actions speak louder than headlines, stood in stark contrast, creating a public comparison that Meghan could neither spin nor escape. Harry, caught between loyalty and the relentless pressure of public attention, watched helplessly as the very real-time disaster unfolded. He tried to shield Meghan, to insulate her from the wildfire of commentary, but even his presence, while comforting, could not rewrite the narrative or stop the relentless digging of journalists, bloggers, and social media users who had discovered a goldmine of details in her pre-Duchess life. Each resurfaced photo, each old party anecdote, each blurry image of yachts, parties, and exclusive social circles was dissected, analyzed, and magnified, painting a picture of a young woman who had maneuvered through elite spaces with strategic savvy, ambition, and connections that, when revealed, contradicted the narrative of humility and struggle she had spent years promoting. As her PR team scrambled, internal leaks began to surface, not scandals exactly, but whispers of insider knowledge that only fueled speculation further. Industry insiders, stylists, and former colleagues, previously quiet, began speaking anonymously, confirming patterns that made her earlier claims seem inconsistent, even performative. Meghan's careful facade, polished over years of controlled messaging, began to crack under the weight of cumulative scrutiny. Every denial, every obfuscation, every carefully worded press statement only drew more attention to the gaps, the contradictions, and the missing pieces. And while Fergie had simply smiled and let the implications speak for themselves, Meghan's reactive style only confirmed public suspicions that her image required constant maintenance, strategic manipulation, and defensive maneuvers that could never fully satisfy a world watching so closely. Meanwhile, the media machine, sensing blood, moved at its usual relentless pace. Headlines multiplied, clips went viral, TikTok threads spiraled, and Reddit discussions delved into minutiae, uncovering timelines, cross-referencing social events, and connecting dots between people, places, and parties in ways that highlighted inconsistencies in Meghan's story. Each revelation, however minor, added to the growing sense of a narrative spiraling out of control, creating a perception not only of dishonesty, but of someone constantly curating a life that, when scrutinized closely, did not fully align with the public persona. The yacht summer, the private parties, the high-profile connections, all became symbols of ambition, strategic networking, and a kind of calculated charm that, while normal in Hollywood's upper echelons, seemed at odds with the story of modest beginnings and quiet humility that Meghan had crafted. Harry, increasingly aware of the implications, struggled to manage the dual pressures of protecting his wife while maintaining his own public image and distance from the ongoing storm. Every public appearance, every statement, every Instagram post had to be calibrated not just for impact, but to avoid creating more fodder for speculation, a balancing act that left little room for personal relief or spontaneity. The Montecito mansion, luxurious as it was, became a theater of tension where every detail mattered. The way Meghan smiled, the clothes she wore, the way she interacted with staff and cameras, all scrutinized for signs of panic, strategy, or inauthenticity. Insiders described the atmosphere as tense and charged, like watching a masterful chess game where one player, seasoned and unflappable, moves calmly, while the other scrambles, improvises, and constantly reacts, trying to regain a sense of control that seems increasingly elusive. And the public, ever hungry for insight into the lives of royalty and celebrities, lapped it up. Every story, every rumor, every subtle implication became material for discussion, debate, and judgment. Blogs posted blow-by-blow analyses of the yacht summer, dissected the leaked images, and drew comparisons between Meghan and Catherine, Fergie and Meghan, amplifying the contrast and deepening the narrative tension. In essence, the drama was no longer just about one moment or one comment. It had evolved into a full-blown saga, a cautionary tale about image, ambition, and the fragility of carefully curated personas in an age where transparency, whether intentional or accidental, can erupt into uncontrollable public scrutiny. And through it all, Meghan's reactions, however calculated, betrayed just enough anxiety, defensiveness, and reactive energy to confirm the very narratives she had tried to avoid. While Fergie walked away with grace, leaving hints and letting others draw their conclusions, Meghan's efforts to control perception only magnified the spotlight, creating a feedback loop of drama, speculation, and inevitable comparison that no amount of PR polish could fully contain. The story, now a mix of celebrity gossip, royal intrigue, and media spectacle, had taken on a life of its own. Every new disclosure, every resurfaced photograph, and every subtle reminder of past social connections compounded the suspense, drawing audiences deeper into a narrative that was part personal history, part public fascination, and part relentless media theater. And as Meghan's Montecito mansion echoed with the sounds of notifications, phone calls, and anxious discussions, the lesson was clear. In a world where past actions, casual smiles, and subtle hints can explode into headlines, no amount of curated narrative, polished appearance, or defensive strategy can fully shield a life under constant public scrutiny. The story was no longer just about Meghan. It was about the collision between carefully controlled image and the unrelenting power of truth, perception, and public curiosity. And with every passing hour, the suspense only grew, the stakes climbed higher, and the drama became more inescapable, ensuring that the narrative, once set in motion, would not fade quietly, and Meghan would continue to face a relentless examination of a life she had long tried to frame, control, and perfect. As Montecito simmered under the weight of scrutiny, Meghan's $2,000 dress scandal became another vivid example of her inability to navigate even the simplest social situations without drama. What should have been a trivial moment, a borrowed outfit from a photo shoot, had transformed into a full-blown PR crisis, complete with statements, defenses, and internet uproar. People couldn't believe that someone living in a multi-million-dollar mansion with Netflix deals and global influence would let a single garment dominate headlines for days. The public's fascination wasn't just about the dress itself, it was about the pattern it revealed. A woman who turned ordinary moments into theatrical spectacles, who weaponized silence, who layered excuses over truths until no one could discern reality from spin. Even the explanation she offered, that she kept the dress to prevent resale online, felt absurd, paranoid, and performative, feeding into the narrative that everything Meghan touches becomes a production, a story carefully curated but impossible to fully control. Meanwhile, the palace observed quietly, Charles and Camilla aware that the ripple effects of these minor scandals could subtly undermine royal prestige, if not managed. But unlike Catherine, Meghan had no natural shield of calm confidence, no instinctive way to let events pass without escalation. Instead, she and Harry became embroiled in the fallout, with him often acting as a buffer, a protector, a safety net, while the storm of social media, blogs, and entertainment news swirled with relentless intensity. The Netflix holiday special, a project meant to showcase warmth, family, and festive cheer, became another glaring example of overreach. Released the same week as competing documentaries and with minimal marketing support, it failed to capture public attention the way Meghan anticipated. Clips of Harry, carefully inserted, felt less like a loving inclusion and more like a desperate attempt to prop up a project that lacked substance and authenticity. Viewers noticed, and the comparisons with William and Catherine became unavoidable. One couple effortlessly present, authentic, and understated, the other scrambling for relevance, carefully staging images and moments in an attempt to maintain a narrative that was unraveling in real time. The turkey video, intended as a cozy, relatable holiday content piece, backfired spectacularly. Her meticulous presentation, jewelry, glammed-up hair, perfectly lit kitchen, stood in stark contrast to the fumbling, over-stylized cooking. Critics and audiences alike saw the performance for what it was, an aesthetic attempt at relatability that only underscored the dissonance between image and reality. Her entitlement, carefully disguised behind charm and polish, became visible, further amplifying the perception that she treated every moment as a potential brand opportunity, even when it risked ridicule. And then came Fergie. That single offhand mention of the yacht summer reopened a chapter of Meghan's life she had spent years attempting to bury. The internet erupted as archival photos, blurry snapshots, and first-hand anecdotes surfaced, revealing a pre-Duchess world filled with networking, strategy, and connections that contradicted her polished narrative of struggle and humility. Meghan, confronted by a living reminder of the past she tried to erase, faltered. While Fergie navigated the moment with grace, subtlety, and the kind of strategic confidence born of surviving decades of scandal, Meghan panicked, scrambling to regain control, deploying teams of PR consultants, issuing opaque statements, and attempting to spin the narrative before it could gain traction. Inside Montecito, the tension was palpable. Staff described her pacing, phone in hand, anxious messages firing off to journalists and online platforms, trying desperately to suppress the flood of information, aware that every new comment, tweet, or post threatened to magnify the narrative rather than contain it. Harry, increasingly aware of the stakes, found himself trapped between protecting Meghan and mitigating public perception, his own image caught in the crossfire. The contrast with the Cambridge royals, calm, grounded, and consistently present in their roles, was inescapable. Catherine's understated elegance and ability to elevate her husband without ostentation highlighted Meghan's tendency to dramatize, over-explain, and involve Harry in attempts to stabilize narratives that inevitably spiraled. Every misstep, every perceived slight, every leaked photograph compounded the sense of inevitability. The pattern was unmistakable. A minor incident became a spectacle, a trivial comment evolved into a storm, and every attempt at explanation layered additional complexity rather than clarity. The public, ever hungry for insight, dissected timelines, analyzed social media patterns, and contrasted Meghan's handling of crises with the calm composure of others who had navigated similar scrutiny. Insiders suggested that Meghan's early exposure to exclusive social circles, yacht summers, and Hollywood networking had given her the tools to move strategically, but the same patterns, when exposed to global scrutiny, now worked against her, painting a picture of someone meticulously orchestrating a persona while leaving breadcrumbs of past ambition, privilege, and calculated charm that contradicted the narrative she now promoted. And so, the saga continued. Each day brought a new layer, a resurfaced photograph, an interview quote, a subtle social media hint, each building tension, suspense, and public curiosity. Every project Meghan launched, whether Netflix specials, charity appearances, or lifestyle content, was now measured against a backdrop of prior controversies, leaked images, and public speculation. The feedback loop was relentless. The more she tried to control perception, the more scrutiny intensified, the more details emerged, the more impossible it became to maintain a cohesive image. Behind the glamour, Montecito felt like a pressure cooker, a gilded cage where every moment of composure had to be manufactured, every appearance staged, every interaction mediated to prevent another explosion of public analysis. And through it all, the lesson became painfully clear. In an age of constant observation, where past actions, casual connections, and unguarded moments can explode into headlines, no amount of branding, curation, or defensive strategy can fully protect a life in the spotlight. Meghan's story, unfolding in real time, served as a case study in the collision between careful narrative management and the unrelenting scrutiny of a public unwilling to ignore inconsistencies, omissions, and contradictions. Every attempt to perform grace, to stage authenticity, to craft relatability, only underscored the contrast between image and reality. The tension, suspense, and drama were now inseparable from her public persona, creating a continuous cycle of spectacle, reaction, and speculation that ensured the story would not fade quietly. The pattern, consistent and unmistakable, guaranteed that no single scandal, video, or resurfaced anecdote could be contained. And as the Montecito mansion buzzed with activity, as PR teams scrambled and Harry tried to shield Meghan, the world watched, analyzed, and waited for the next move, knowing that the saga was far from over, that the contrast between curated image and unedited past would continue to dominate headlines, and that the suspense, the uncertainty, the drama, the anticipation, was only growing stronger with each passing day. The public was hooked, the narrative relentless, and Meghan's empire of image, carefully constructed over years, teetered under the weight of its own complexity, ensuring that the story, full of hooks, suspense, drama, and relentless intrigue, would continue to unfold with a force that few could escape or ignore. As the drama simmered in Montecito, the media frenzy showed no signs of slowing. Every casual mention of Meghan's past became a spark that ignited an online wildfire. Analysts dissected her actions with surgical precision, from her choice of clothing to the way she smiled during interviews, to subtle gestures caught on camera. Nothing escaped scrutiny. What had once been a polished image of a duchess now looked increasingly fragile, the veneer of control cracking under the weight of public curiosity. Even the most mundane moments, a walk through the garden, a casual social media post, a family photo, were scrutinized, compared to decades of historical royal precedent, and found wanting. While Catherine, William, and even Kate's extended circle could navigate public life with understated elegance, Meghan's every move was interpreted as a performance, an attempt to maintain an image that increasingly seemed out of reach. The contrast could not have been starker. Catherine's calm, grounded presence, her ability to let the spotlight naturally follow without creating spectacle, highlighted Meghan's need to manufacture attention, to stage moments, to script reactions. Each public appearance by Meghan, whether it was a casual charity visit or a promotional event for her lifestyle brand, was now seen through a lens sharpened by previous controversies. Critics and fans alike began connecting dots, analyzing the repeated patterns: borrowed dresses, staged holiday specials, yachting summers, curated social circles, subtle PR missteps, and the ever-present reliance on Harry to prop up projects that might otherwise flop. And it wasn't just the public. Sources within Hollywood and the media noted that streaming platforms, talent agencies, and even former collaborators were beginning to treat her projects differently, more cautiously, because the combination of her meticulous branding and the inevitable leaks created unpredictable outcomes. One deal might explode in popularity, while another collapsed under the weight of controversy, leaving collaborators wary of what might emerge next. Meanwhile, Harry's role grew more complex. Once seen as a counterbalance to Meghan's image management, he now increasingly appeared tethered to her brand, often serving as the human stabilizer for content that otherwise lacked authenticity. Insider accounts suggested he was frustrated, aware of the optics, frustrated at being drawn into situations where his name was attached to controversies he did not create, yet responsible for managing fallout. Comparisons with William and Catherine, increasingly frequent in the press, became almost inevitable. One royal aide noted that William's ability to show humility while elevating his wife in public settings made the Cambridge marriage appear effortless. Meghan and Harry, by contrast, seemed constantly engaged in a high-stakes juggling act, balancing attention, media narratives, and personal branding, often with mixed results. As the yacht summer rumors resurfaced, coupled with archival photos and Fergie's pointed smirk during interviews, Meghan's past came back with renewed intensity. Each resurfaced image, each hint of former social connections, added to the perception that she had carefully constructed a persona for the royal spotlight, one that might not fully align with the lived reality of her pre-Duchess years. And as if the pressure weren't enough, Netflix's tepid handling of her holiday special underscored the public shift. What was intended to be a cozy, intimate showcase of lifestyle, family, and festive spirit had been overshadowed by other releases, gaining less visibility, less excitement, and fewer clicks than anticipated. Meghan's response was predictable. Careful curation, subtle tweaks, and additional appearances meant to inject vitality into a project that had already plateaued. Observers noted that Harry's cameo felt more like a lifeline than a genuine creative choice, reinforcing the narrative that even carefully staged content required extra support to land with audiences. Meanwhile, the dress scandal, while minor in isolation, became emblematic of the pattern, minor missteps evolving into full-blown narratives that demanded damage control, legal statements, and convoluted explanations. Each incident highlighted a recurring theme: Meghan's tendency to complicate the simple, to create layers of drama where none existed, and to weaponize both her image and her silence, depending on the situation. In Montecito, the tension was palpable. Staff described long nights of crisis calls, strategic message crafting, and meticulous monitoring of online chatter. Sources indicated that Meghan oscillated between calm confidence for the camera and private panic behind closed doors, aware that each leak, each resurfaced rumor, and each misstep threatened the image she spent years curating. The public noticed. The internet, ever vigilant, analyzed every post, every appearance, every tweet, creating a feedback loop where curiosity and speculation amplified any imperfection. Meanwhile, Fergie's effortless handling of public attention, her calm smile, her strategic winks and hints, served as a foil. The contrast between someone who had weathered decades of scrutiny with a playful, unbothered approach and someone who responded to every hint with panic, PR maneuvers, and defensive messaging could not have been more striking. Every day became a microcosm of the larger struggle: narrative control versus uncontrollable perception. Every resurfaced photograph, every casually dropped comment, every subtle historical reference was magnified, dissected, and woven into a larger story about authenticity, ambition, and image management. As the cycle continued, the story evolved beyond scandal. It became a study in human behavior under intense scrutiny. The ways people construct personas, manage public perception, respond to leaks, and react when control slips. Meghan's carefully curated life, once perceived as an aspirational fairy tale, was now being evaluated under a microscope of skepticism, curiosity, and relentless public attention. And in the midst of this ongoing tension, a single truth became clear. No amount of branding, PR, or carefully staged moments could fully contain a life observed at the level Meghan's had become. Every borrowed dress, every holiday special, every staged photo, every subtle reference to her past created another thread in an intricate web, ensuring that the public, the media, and even the royal family remained deeply invested, analyzing, comparing, and anticipating the next move. The drama was far from over. The suspense, tension, and unpredictability of every action, every statement, every public appearance guaranteed that the saga would continue, growing more complex with each passing day and ensuring that Meghan's story remained one of the most watched, debated, and dissected narratives of the modern royal era. And while Montecito may have seemed serene from the outside, inside the walls of the mansion, every knock of the door, every ping of a message, every subtle social media alert reminded Meghan and her team that the world was watching, waiting, and ready to magnify every imperfection. The stakes, once abstract, were now palpable, and the interplay between image, narrative, and perception became a high-wire act without a safety net, ensuring that the drama, suspense, and public fascination would only continue to escalate.